Bien. Hello, good afternoon. We are going back with the workshops. This is our second workshop in English. Excuse me because I don't know if I speak English correctly, but I will try to make understand. So we are going to visit Lava Charter sailboats here at Marina del Sur, Tenerife, Las Galletas. And we are going to talk with José Carbó, which is the general manager of this base at Las Galletas with Lava Charter. Follow me and let's go to meet him. Hello, Jose.
Hi, Diego.
How are you, mate?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Nice. Nice to meet you
Same
here
here.
at Las Galletas. So Jose is the manager here at the Lava Charter base at Las Galletas, and he's going to introduce and present the boats and how to sail and several advice about how sailing here in the Canary Island, because it's a special place because of the acceleration areas that he will explain. So we are on your hands.
Yes, thanks. Come with us.
Please, any comment is welcome. If you hear the noise of the wind, you can write it in order to we'll be able to change the camera configuration. So these are your boats, no?
Yeah. So this is these are the Dufour fleets that belong here to the Tenerife base. And to share with you guys a little bit about the boat. This is the Don Carlos. This is the boat that we are going to show you today. And explain a little bit of how we do the maintenance procedures and how we do the briefings and all these sort of processes with the clients. And so before we go on board, I wanted to tell you a little of the story of lava. So lava comes into being because of our passion for sailing.
Okay.
And when we thought about where to establish the base, we obviously knew that the Canary Islands was by choice the preference. That was the number one option that we had. Because of where we are. We're in the middle of the Atlantic. We are connected to every of the continents, Africa, Europe, America. And it gives us a very unique location to explore and live our passion, which is sailing. You have winds, and you have great weather conditions all year long because of the warm climate. You have this paradise of the islands that you have and the views, and then you're in the middle of the Atlantic, which is our playground basically. So back in 2015, when we came to the Canary Islands, we already had the idea of establishing the base in Arrecife, in Lanzarote, and doing it there gave us the option to learn as we go and to create that space so we can develop the concept of service that we want to create. So we mounted the base in Arrecife, and then shortly after, in 2 years' time, we were able to get this Dufour fleet and bring it over here to Tenerife to establish our base in Tenerife as well, to have a proximity to the Western Islands, so our clients will also explore the Western Islands directly from Tenerife.
So the airport is really close.
Yeah. So the airport is only 20 minutes away from Tenerife South, which is also a very good location for us because of that. And then the good thing about here being in Marina del Sur is that we're only about 5-6 hours away from La Gomera, and then 10 hours from so it gives us a very good rich location to the Western Islands, so our clients can explore those islands and have close proximity to the mountains. So if you guys want, we can step over and do Carlos,
Sure.
and I'll show you the boat and some more procedures. Yes, this is one of the biggest boats in our fleet. So welcome to Don Carlos. This is the Dufour 512. Okay, so just to explain to you how we work, when we receive the boats, we usually give them to our clients on a Saturday. Clients receive it on a Saturday and comes back on a Friday. So the way that we separate our maintenance and our preparations for the boats to be ready to sail for the next charter guest what we do is that we separate them in 3 phases. We separate them in phase 1 is the early cleaning.
Okay.
Then phase 2 is the aesthetic of the boat, and then phase 3 is the functional maintenance, or what I call the functional maintenance, which basically is how everything on the boat works. So it's the helm, the chains, the autopilots, the engine. These boats, the Do4 fleets, comes with a jet thruster system, which is it sucks the water out of the water line from below the water line, puts it through a pump and then through a 3-way valve, and it allows you to correct the bow every time you're berthing the boat. So all of these mechanisms are part of the functional maintenance that we look into. So when we make sure that the boats are ready, we make sure that all of these items that we have here, for example, the floating dumb buoy, the throw line, the man overboard light, the horseshoe. Then in this side you have a man overboard ladder, the e-perk, also the electrical system, the electrical instruments, and then also safety equipment, for example, that we have here in the combing locker. We tend to prepare the boats. We're sailors ourselves, so we like to prepare the boats as if it was for us, because we consider ourselves to be very conservative. So because of that concept, because of that idea, we think that in this case, because the thing is, we're in the Canary Islands, just like you mentioned before about the acceleration zones. So we have acceleration zones in the Canary Islands, which is one of the good things of why we are able to sail all year long in the archipelago. However, having the acceleration zones, one of the things that we go with our clients during the briefing is explaining to them the responsibility of having the acceleration zones and sailing in them. Even though they're called acceleration zones, the way that I explain it to our clients is I usually call them wind walls or walls of wind, because what happens is you are at 15 knots out to one distance, and then as soon as you come into the acceleration zone, the wind just increases in an instant, and you go from 15 to 25, 30, 40. So because of that, we tend to explain to our clients that they need to be aware of how to sail in the acceleration zones, how to reef the sails before they reach the acceleration zones. And then also, for example, one of the instruments or one of the tools that we give them is these 2 lines here, the green one and the red one, which there are jibe preventers, which they can tie to the boom and then fix it through the cleats, and we send it here to the cockpit. And that way they can control the tacking and the jibing when sailing. Then we also provide them with boat hooks. We provide them with mooring lines, fire extinguishers, buckets, bilging tools to bilge water out of the bilge in case they have to do anything like that. They have spare oil, spare gasoline, spare coolant for the engine. They also have an emergency tiller. And they also have, for example, pumps for the dinghy and all of this stuff. And so the idea is for the clients to be prepared for when they leave the marina, as well as to be prepared and have the tools when they're sailing outside. Because of what I said before, we're sailors ourselves, so we think that if we need it, I'm sure our clients will too. They also have the winch handles, and then.
And you told me that you have a barbecue here.
Yes, we have a grill.
It's funny.
Yeah, this is something that.
Whoa!
This is very unique to the Do4 fleet. Yeah,
it's great.
Some of our clients like it. Sometimes they use it a lot. Other times not so much. But yeah, this is mostly for when you're anchored, for example, which is one of the things that clients like to do. For example, in the south of Tenerife, in the area of Masca. This is one of the things that they'll use if they're in that location. So yeah, so it gets used sometimes. So, and then also when charter guests come on board, even though they know that the boat has a grill, it surprises them to see it in person. So it's a good thing. If you guys want, we can step inside. Oh, this is actually a fridge.
Oh my God, here.
This is an external fridge. I mean, this is
very practical.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have nice weather, you know, it's better not to go inside.
Yeah.
Because of the sick.
Yes.
So it's very practical to have here fresh water for juices.
Yeah, it really does help to have that also here. One of the things about this boat is that you have plenty of space in the cockpit, and you also have empty compartments that you can put stuff inside. So in this case, this boat is very comfortable for that. If you guys want, we can step inside and I'll show you the interior, and then also we can show you some of the other equipments that we share with our charter guests to make the boat ready. So this is the interior of Don Carlos. As you can see, space here is it's not limited. It's very wide.
Space and light.
Yes, the natural light is very it's very good in this boat because even though you have all of these curtains, you can open them as they are now, and the boat is lit from every corner, every direction, which makes it seem a lot bigger when you come inside the first time because of the ambience light, which is very good. As you can see, the boat is very big in the interior. This boat is fit perfectly for 8 to 10 persons, even though it allows up to 12.
Okay.
In the case of this boat particularly, we have more safety equipment inside. One of the things that I was mentioning before is the cleaning. For example, in the case of Don Carlos or any other boats, when the boats come back, the first phase, which is the cleaning phase, we tend to focus a lot on the kitchen. We focus a lot on the compartments in the saloon, because this is where clients spend most of the time, either eating or exchanging things like cooking or putting meals inside for storing or anything. So this is one of the first things we do to prevent any sort of bugs inside the boat, and also to maintain a general cleaning process throughout the usage of the boat long term. And then another thing is the aesthetics, which is what I mentioned before. Is the aesthetics means, you know, the wood details, fixing anything that could be wrong, and all of these is part of the process for when the boat comes into the marina, that it's returned by the charter guests. We go into those 3 phases to make sure that each one is fulfilled. First is the cleaning phase, the preemptive cleaning phase. Then is the aesthetic, and then the functional maintenance involves checking the engine, oils, filters, checking that the fire extinguishers are up to date and that they're all on board. For example, you have one there for the engine. Then you also have another one in one of the 2 stern cabins, in the aft cabins. And then the last one is here underneath the kitchen sink. But then you also have for example, in this boat, as in all of our boats, we also provide a fire blanket, first aid kits.
We have just seen it in another boat of the festival in Esperance. He has the blanket close to the galley. I have also in my boat, so it's really important to have it. But also the fire extinguishers, as you have told, you have 4.
Yeah, this boat has 4. The one that belongs to the kitchen is here.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it is very important to have that, because you never know what can happen when you are cooking, or you know, at the end of the day, a boat is very much like a house, and sometimes we forget things. We can forget that we have something in the stove, and just go somewhere else, and next thing you know, you can have a potential fire. So having this equipment here at hand is very helpful. Then we also have the safety equipment that's inside the boat. For example, is this one here, which, as you can see, it's barely gets used. That's the comment that we get most of the time for our clients, because this compartment's rarely open. It's only open for the check-ins. Normally, as a company policy, we always want to keep our clients. We always want to have them enjoy their holidays, which means that if they don't have to use this equipment at all, it's all the better. That is the ideal situation. So they have a toolbox, they have the safety gloves, they have the safety goggles for if in case if we ever need to use the flares. Then they have the drag anchor, bosun's chair, the anchor balls, the motoring cones, and then the shroud cutter, which is here. So as you can see, all of this equipment is just stored here. It's usually just for exhibition. We always we would always like to keep it that way, mostly because if our clients ever have an issue with the boats, we always have technicians on the other islands to help them. So this is one of the reasons why this looks like this, and we like to keep it that way. We also provide them with safety life jackets.
Okay.
In this case, these are automatic.
Okay.
We think they're much more comfortable and reliant when sailing, especially on the Atlantic. So yeah, these are some of the safety equipment that we provide our clients with. Generally, after we go face by face, all of these things on the boat, we have a checklist that we go through to make sure that all of the phases are fulfilled. And then usually the idea is that the second or third phase are not really fulfilled until the first two have been completed. So we go one by one until we reach the end, and then full circle again for the pre-check-in, which is what we do whenever the clients come on board. So some of the things that we go with our clients when they are inside is we show them all of this equipment, we show them how to use the sails. In this case, all of our do-fours have full battens, so they have their full battens with 3 reefs. So we show them how to reef the sails, how to use the sails, especially sailing in the Canary Islands, which is very peculiar, like we said before, because of the acceleration zones. And then we also show them how to use the bathrooms, where the location of the seacocks are, how to use them, when to use them, and all of this information as well. So it's a continuous briefing from the moment that we meet the clients to when we show on the boat, just to make sure that they are ready, they have the tools, and that the boat is also ready for sailing.
That's very professional. And also, you told me about it. If you rent one of these boats and you have any technical problem in another island, you have contact with technicians throughout the Canary Island.
Yes.
So you don't have to.
The idea for the client doesn't have to do anything. Even though, I mean, as a sailor, you always need to have your own personal experience, your own personal tools to fix a problem if you have to. But in this case, even though we count on our clients to be able to do that, we also count that we can do that ourselves. So as long as the client informs us of the problem, most certainly we can get another technician on any other island to fix the problem for them. And that way it gives them the time to just continue, exploring the island, or just as soon as the technician is finished, they can get back on board and just be on their way. So it gives them the time, and it also gives us the assurance that whatever problem the client has, it gets fixed. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
It's interesting because when you're a sailor and you arrive to a new place, you don't know anybody. I have this problem. How can I solve it? So it's very important that you have your services, your contact with technicians for solving any problem you can find.
And this way the client doesn't have to worry about that, about who to call, when to call, because sometimes the marina's offices are closed because they arrive on a Sunday. So who are they going to call at that time? It's just as long as they contact us, we know who to call.
Nice.
So that's really a safety procedure that we like to always maintain for the enjoyment of the client, for the charter guest.
Okay. Do we have any questions for our followers? ¿Tenemos alguna pregunta por ahí de los seguidores?
They say just hi. But it's really interesting charter company here in the Canary Island. Looks very nice.
Okay, thank you. And this is a 4 cabins boat?
Yeah, this boat is 4 cabins.
2 on the stern and 2 on the bow?
2 in the aft and then 2 in the front. Each one has its own head. So you have one head here and another one on the port side.
Nice.
Yeah, this boat is very big, really. This boat, as I said, it can fit perfectly 8 to 10 persons. And then 12 is, so if you come, this one as well. 12 is, it's really the maximum that it can hold. But the ideal amount of crew members on this boat is to be 8 to 10.
Because you need food, you need water for everyone, and the suitcases.
Yeah, between the suitcases.
Not to go too much people.
Yeah, exactly. Between the suitcases, the provisioning, and then generally the space for moving around. If you have 12 people inside, this is already too much. Even if the boat allows it, because this becomes a double berth and that becomes a single berth. But even though it's already too many people on board.
It depends on the days that you are sailing. For example, if you are going for a weekend, you can go 12.
Yeah,
If you are going for a week, it's
Yeah.
better to work 8.
Yes, exactly.
From my experience,
Yeah.
this is my idea, my concept. No, oh, 2 days a weekend, it's okay. I can go with a lot of friends.
Yes.
If I'm going for a for a route for 5-6 days, 3 or 4 boats, people on my boat, it's
Mm.
enough.
Yes.
For this boat, 8.
Yeah,
It's-
here
it's
8 is
great.
perfect. And anything below 5, it's too big of a boat for that
Yeah.
the few crew members. But somewhere between 5 and 10, that
It's
is
okay.
that is the perfect
Very
the
nice.
perfect amount of crew members, because the boat allows that for that, and it gives you plenty of space. So
Nice.
yeah, it's very comfortable. Don
Yeah.
Carlos is one of the most comfortable boats, and clients usually get surprised when they come in because of the size,
Yeah.
the sheer size of the saloon. Everything is like
Yeah.
this is like a loft, really.
Yeah,
floating,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a floating loft. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much
No,
for your
thank you guys
time,
for
showing
the
your
opportunity.
beautiful boats.
Mhm.
And well, we are happy that so many people is participating in the first edition of Sailing Fest, and we hope to be able to repeat it in the future. So we would like to contact you again,
Of course, we love to be
eh?
part of that. Yeah.
Probably we could repeat in Lanzarote, and then we can show your
We can show
base.
the base over there. Yeah.
Okay, could be a good idea.
That'd
So
be great.
thank you very much to everybody. Now we are going to stop for several hours, and tonight, we have the final workshop on the
Mhm.
Copernico Dobron.
Mhm.
You can come if you want, because we are going to meet all the sailors together in that boat. We are going to make some skills, ability games with a
Mhm.
magician. We have also music on board, okay, with a guitar and some drums. And the final party, okay,
Okay.
all the crew on board, and for sure all our followers are invited to participate with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.